So you're moving to Virginia, but do you know what to expect once you get here? Well, here's 10 things you might not know about Virginia until you live here. And I'm going to share all of those with you here in just a second, but let's go ahead and get started right now. So, what are those 10 things you might not know about Virginia until you live here? Well, let's start out with number 1, where our famous slogan, "Virginia is for lovers," first appeared. Now, in order to know that story, you have to understand that it was in the late 1960s. And the group known today as the Virginia Tourism Commission was looking for a way to encourage people not only to visit Virginia's famous places with their children, but also to make it their home by appealing to a younger generation. Now, inspired by the culture of love at the time, Robin McLaughlin, a $100 a week copywriter for Martin & Wolf's advertising agency, had been asked to come up with the task of creating a slogan. Now, Robin's first idea was not the current slogan that we have today. You see, he understood the importance of Virginia history, and linking that to the idea of love, he came up with the slogan, "Virginia is for history lovers." Well, now that's a pretty good slogan, but the idea behind creating the logo was so that it would appeal to a wide range of people. And I mean, Virginia is a huge historical footprint, yes, and here in the area, but over the entire country as well. But what about the beautiful beaches that people love in Virginia? What about the gorgeous mountains that we love here too? Well, what followed were multiple slogans all around the state, like "Virginia is for beach lovers" and "Virginia is for mountain lovers." However, this approach seemed to divide Virginia into its own particular areas rather than unite the state under one common bond. Hence, "Virginia is for lovers" was finally born. You see, Virginia is for all kinds of lovers. Yes, it's for history lovers and beach lovers and mountain lovers, but it's also for couples and families and music lovers and art lovers and outdoor activity lovers. You know, today when we say that Virginia is for lovers, that term can mean many things to many different people because there's so much to love about Virginia. Now, over the years since 1969, when the slogan debuted, Virginians have latched onto this slogan and show their love for the area in which they live by creating a Virginia Loveworks sign. Now, simply spelling the word love with materials and objects representative of the area and culture in which they live, you'll find over 275 signs from Virginians all over the state. And you can visit every one of them if you like. Yes, Virginia certainly is for lovers, but where did the slogan first appear? Well, it appeared in the 1969 June-July issue of Modern Bride magazine. And you know, that sounds like a pretty appropriate place to share with the world our popular and well-known slogan. Number 2, if you want to be friends with us, don't confuse us with West Virginians. I mean, West Virginia did separate itself from Virginia a long time ago. So why do Virginians have such a reaction to being mistaken as a West Virginian today? Well, first of all, the reasons for division are greatly different today than they were in 1863 when West Virginia became its own state. Today, much of the aversion to being labeled a West Virginian resident usually has to do with several West Virginia stereotypes like being less educated or poverty-stricken and even hillbillies. And to be fair, the Appalachian region of West Virginia does have its share of social and economic issues which tends to give the entire state its image. Now, today, this distaste some Virginians have of being called West Virginian is usually, I say usually, is something that is just to show state pride of being a Virginian. And also because we think we're better than West Virginians. Of course, that's led to the creation of plenty of jokes over the years that Virginians tell about West Virginians, and I'm sure it's the other way around too. But I don't have anything against West Virginians, and West Virginia has some beautiful locations and unique things to do. However, Virginia as a whole, it isn't the same as West Virginia, whether it's socially, economically, or geographically. Now, it's also interesting that much of the western portion of Virginia, my area here, Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys, pretty much the areas west of the Blue Ridge Mountains, today they actually align probably more closely politically with the views of West Virginia. Now, as a matter of fact, some individuals even were recently part of a failed resolution for certain areas of Western Virginia to leave the state and to join the state of West Virginia. And like I say, it failed pretty quickly. Over the years, I think this association factor with Virginia to West Virginia has, it's lessened somewhat, but it does still exist today. And although it's usually in a funny way, so when I say that you can't be my friend, that's definitely a lot more hyperbole there than anything else. If you're interested in living here in Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys, or even if you're looking to move across town or to sell your home here, all of our information is in the description down below. Leslie and I love to help people when they contact us. And additionally, if you would like to subscribe to our channel and touch that bell icon, we would be honored, and it helps our channel grow, but it helps others like you who are interested in the area as well. Now, let's move on to the number 3 reason that you might not know about Virginians until you move here. Number 3, Virginians are territorial. As a Virginian, when you say where you live in Virginia, you might get an unsolicited response or an eye roll. Now, while it doesn't matter to many people, there are some people who live in our area here, let's say this nicely, would prefer that Northern Virginia or Richmond residents stay in Northern Virginia or Richmond. Now, of course, it has also been said by residents of Northern Virginia and Richmond that we're a bunch of hicks here in the mountains. But you're thinking probably now, like, wow, from what you said about Virginia so far, it sounds like it's a really snobby place to live. Well, let me just say, a lot of this is in joking, and nothing could be further from the truth. Virginia still has its southern hospitality, and you'll find that most of the people from all over the state, especially here in our beautiful mountains and valleys, are very friendly people. Now, like I've said before, our neighbors are our friends, and our friends, they are our neighbors. And I'm not talking just about my next door neighbors. I'm talking about my Virginia neighbors. You know, over the years, we've had so many people here be willing to help us, or to keep an eye on the house while we're on vacation, or to take care of our dog for us, or to help someone else here in the area when they're in need. Now, while there's always a few bad apples that ruin the bushel everywhere, you're going to find that Virginians over the vast majority of the state are very friendly, helpful, and courteous. And I personally think that you can find some of the friendliest Virginians right here, like I just said a minute ago, in our beautiful mountains and valleys. Am I partial? Yeah, probably. But I'll tell you what, loving where you live makes life a whole lot more enjoyable. But anyway, as I was saying, this territorial behavior, for lack of a better term, is something you might see when you live here in Virginia. Number 4, we know you're from out of town when you don't know how to pronounce the names of our towns. Legend has it that the names of many of the towns in Virginia were spelled one way and pronounced differently. So why? So that local residents would know if the person they were talking to was a local, or whether they are an out-of-towner. Now, while this really can't be proven, we do joke about it being that way all the time. Now, here's just a few mistakes for you to avoid when you visit the area so you can talk like a Virginian. Number 1, now this small, quaint city of about 25,000 people is an amazing place to shop, the many different stores in the downtown area, and of course, you just won't be able to resist taking a meal at one of the many downtown restaurants as well. The architecture in the town is amazing too, and the city has music festivals throughout the year, and there's plenty of art studios and theaters to make for a wonderful day. Now, in addition to all that, you've got outdoor activities and recreational activities, and like I'm here at Montgomery Hall Park today, one of the beautiful parks with a Frisbee golf course, baseball fields, and playground, tennis courts, basketball courts, a whole lot of things to do here. However, it is not pronounced Staunton. It's Stanton. You know, for some reason, we just decided that we didn't have to blend the A and the U together to make one sound. So when you come to town, don't worry about the blend, just say Stanton. Here's another one. Now, this small town, about halfway between Lexington and Roanoke, is named after our 15th President of the United States. It lies along the banks of the James River, and if you dare, there's a fun suspension walking bridge that you can traverse. However, when you're in the area, you'll look like an out-of-towner when you say Buchanan. You see, we even changed the names of our presidents to meet our likings here in Virginia because we say Buchanan. Now, there's plenty of others that you'll want to be aware of as well. And to find out what some of them are, you can watch this video that Leslie and I did a while ago, which will give you a whole lot more towns in the area, but just something kind of fun. All right, number 5 on the list. Virginia is one of the best states for businesses to grow. Now, according to Forbes magazine, Virginia is the number 2 state for business growth. And you know what? I would agree, because the economy in many parts of the state is very strong. Even here in the Shenandoah Valley and in the Charlottesville area, companies are both growing and moving into the area. As an example, the aerospace manufacturer Northrop Grumman recently broke ground right here in the small city of Waynesboro. And like I say, the facility that they're building is a $200 million facility comprised of 315,000 square feet. And this facility is going to be used to manufacture and test advanced electronic parts. And you know what? Production is expected to begin in 2026 and supposed to hire about another 300 people here in the area. Now, what does this mean for residents here in the area? Jobs. And lots of them. But it's not just Northrop Grumman, you see. It's other businesses and all types that find Virginia as a very business-friendly home. One of the reasons Virginia is growing is because it's spreading business throughout the entire state. And when it spreads the business throughout the entire state, it does this through a program called the Virginia Enterprise Zones. Now, in this program, the state partners with local government to encourage job creation and private investment. This is done through job creation grants and the real property investment grants. Now, as a matter of fact, you can see that both Stanton and Waynesboro participate in this program. Another aspect of Virginia's growing economy can be found in the Virginia Talent Accelerator program. This program is produced by the Virginia Economic Development Program and partners with the Virginia Community College System and, quote, provides world-class training and recruitment solutions that are fully customized to a company's unique operations, equipment, standards, and culture. All program services are provided at no cost to qualified new and expanding companies as an incentive for job creation. Now, here's another thing that I bet you didn't know about Virginia. When it comes to the largest concentration of tech talent in the United States, you'll find that Virginia is first on the list. Now, I would have thought California, but that just shows you how many tech and higher paying jobs can be found here. Now, many of those jobs are in Northern Virginia, but they can still be found, as I've just said, throughout the Commonwealth as well. Now, I could continue to talk about many additional business accolades that Virginia receives, like the fact that it's the number 4 ranked state when it comes to the number of veteran workers that it employs. But here's the thing. Virginia has a very diverse workforce. And while the area may be rural, it doesn't mean that it's not without cutting-edge businesses in it. Yes, Virginia may be for lovers, but it's for lovers of business too. Number 6 on the list. Virginia is a great place for people to retire to. Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, Wallet Hub ranks it as the 3rd best place to retire to in the United States as well. But when many people come to those golden years, as we call them, Virginia usually isn't the most considered state for retirement. I mean, people often think of moving to a tropical or desert state like Florida or Arizona. And while I've visited both of those states multiple times, and there's some great advantages of living there, I'm just not sure that I could handle Florida's summer humidity and Arizona's 110-degree heat. For me, and for many of the people who have called us here and who have moved to the area, whether they're moving or whether they're retiring to Virginia, when it comes to weather, we absolutely love the 4 distinct seasons that we have here in Virginia. And here's the thing, it's not too far north where You live in an icebox for 6 months out of the year, and it's not too far south where it's so hot and humid that, well, you're like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. I'm melting, right? So, but like I say, it's right in the middle. But it's not just a milder climate that makes Virginia a great place to retire. There's also multiple other reasons as well. One that you probably won't surprise you is that, won't surprise you at least if you are watching our videos, is the numerous outdoor activities. Now, while there are activities all over Virginia, I want to talk about some of the best activities here in our beautiful mountains and valleys. Do you like hiking? Do you like cycling? Do you like mountain biking? Do you like kayaking or canoeing, fishing, hunting, golf, skiing, picking fruits and vegetables, rock climbing, even skydiving? You are going to find all that and so much more right here in the area. Simply put, we really live, in my opinion, one of the best places in the entire state and in the entire country. Now, for people who enjoy outdoor recreation, it's a great reason why many people like to come here. And it's one of the reasons that Virginia is among the best quality of life states, especially here in our beautiful mountains and valleys. Now, one of the reasons that might surprise you is that Virginia has lower taxes than many states. Now, I know some Virginians would disagree with me, but while Virginia certainly isn't the lowest, according to WalletHub, Virginia ranks as the 10th best state overall when it comes to taxes. For example, there's no state or inheritance taxes in Virginia. Great thing for retirees. Additionally, Virginia does not tax Social Security benefits. And if any portion of your Social Security benefits are taxed at the federal level, you can subtract that amount on your Virginia return. Property taxes in Virginia are a little lower than many states as well, and seniors can receive tax discounts in most Virginia counties and cities. So, if you're in one of those states that is taxing you to death, Virginia is going to give you somewhat of a respite in that area. Now, another reason to retire to Virginia is to be involved in all the cultural activities the state has to offer. Now, while you'll find some of these activities in the larger cities, many of these cultural events can be found in smaller towns and cities, with many of them being right here in our own area. Whether it's wine festivals, art festivals, musical concerts and festivals like the Stanton Music Festival and the Red Wing Roots Music Festival, you're going to find it right here and many more. Now, additionally, if you're looking for celebrations and events, you're going to find them up and down the Shenandoah Valley and on the Charlottesville side of the mountain as well. I've talked a lot about many of these events in our videos, but there's always something that can be done here. Now, of course, you'll also be surrounded by history. Whether you're walking Civil War battlefields, visiting an old mill where you can purchase locally produced stone ground flour, learning what life was like when this area was considered the western frontier of the United States, and you do that at the Frontier Culture Museum here in Stanton, or whether you're walking the historical paths at the homes of multiple U.S. presidents like Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. You will only find that type of thing right here in this area of Virginia. So yes, the big city areas of Virginia, they've got traffic, they've got crowds, and they have higher cost of living. And if you enjoy living that city life and you enjoy that pace, more power to you, enjoy it. But if you want to have all the things you need and are surrounded by culture and activities and amazing beauty, Virginia's mountains and valleys are truly they really are a sight to behold. All right, number 7 on the list. Virginia residents are full of vanity. Now, I hear some of you saying, see, I told you so. Virginia residents are snobby. Well, once again, nothing could be further from the truth. But when it comes to our license plates, Virginia is the leader with the most vanity plates of any state in the Union. And since we're the leaders in this category, it makes sense that we have over 200 styles of plates from which residents can choose. So, whether you're into wildlife or hunting, or you've served in the military, or you like walking on the Appalachian Trail, or you're a member of a civil organization, or a fan of the railroad, or you just want a plate that represents the college that you graduated from, and even some of them from out-of-state colleges as well. you will probably be able to find what you're looking for here. And here's the thing, it only costs $20 a year to be vain in Virginia. $10 for the vanity plate and $10 for the personalization of the plate. That's one of the reasons why about 16% of all residents in Virginia have vanity plates. Kind of neat. Number 8 on the list. You've probably eaten a Virginia peanut. Now, while Virginia is not the largest producer of peanuts, it does have a large footprint in the peanut industry. Most of Virginia's peanuts are grown in or near the Suffolk area, which is known as the peanut capital of the world. Now, I'm sure Georgia and a couple other states might argue with that title as they claim it as well. However, since 1941, when an Italian immigrant came to Suffolk and opened a company, oh, by the way, you may have heard of that company, Planters Peanuts, it's held that title. Now, Suffolk also became home to one of the most well-known advertising icons ever as well, Mr. Peanut. Now, today you can learn all about him at the Planters Peanut Museum there in Suffolk. Now, Virginia is not only famous for having one of Planters' manufacturing facilities in it, but we also have multiple brands of our own peanuts as well. Virginia Dinner Peanuts, Belmont Peanuts, Hub's Virginia Peanuts, and Farady's Peanuts, and the list goes on and on. Now, today over 130 million pounds of peanuts are grown in the area, and they're sent all over the world. And what's so special about Virginia peanuts? Well, they're also sometimes known as ballpark peanuts. You know, like the hot ones you get at a baseball game. You see, they're also the largest of all peanuts, and they have a distinctive crunch. And when it comes to taste, they have a more flavorful, robust taste than their counterparts grown in other states. So, to use a dad joke, you might say Virginians are what? Nuts over their peanuts. All right, going along with the peanut idea, number 9, Virginians also love their apples. Now, fall is one of Leslie and my favorite times of the year here in Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains. Not just because of the beautiful display of colors that we enjoy every year, but also because fall means that it's apple picking time. Now, while Washington State dwarfs all other states in apple production, the state of Virginia is ranked as the fifth largest producer of apples. Now, while apples are grown all over the state, you're going to find an abundance of orchards all up and down the Blue Ridge Mountains. Now, there's all kinds of apples with different tastes and for different uses as well. And you'll find different varieties from one orchard to the next. Now, one of my favorite things to do at the orchard when our children were young was to pick the apples right off the tree. Now, while not all orchards are pick your own, it's so much fun to pick the apples yourself. And while there's a lot that you can pick at that are at arm's reach and head length and below, what's more fun is taking that apple picking pole and getting the apples at the top. That's where all the good ones are anyway, right? So, of course, there's many orchards in the area, and they have so many different types of apple products, apple butter, apple pies, and a lot of sweet things. You get the idea, right? Many of the orchards also have family fun days and special events in addition to just the apple picking. So it really is a fun day for all members of the family. So, if you've never picked apples in the beautiful mountains of Virginia and you live here in Virginia, you don't know what you're missing. It is a whole lot of fun. All right, so number 10 on the list. Virginia is known as the birthplace of a nation. Now, why is our state given this title? Well, first of all, it's because of all the people that came to live in the New World. The first to do so, who would be an integral part of the founding of our nation, were the 104 men and boys who landed in the area that they called Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. Other groups like the Pilgrims would come to Massachusetts in 1620, but Virginia colonists were the first to permanently settle here in the New World. Now, as the colonies continued to grow under the rule of English monarchy, Virginia and many of its leaders played an important role in establishing many of the thoughts, ideas, and laws that would be revised and utilized in the writing of the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. Thomas Jefferson drew heavily from the Virginia Declaration of Rights when crafting the wording for the Declaration of Independence and the United States Bill of Rights. Also, the Virginia Declaration of Rights was written by two Virginians, primarily by George Mason, with later input from James Madison, who was younger than him at the time. And there were many concepts taken from this document that included the ideas that all men are created equal, they are by nature equally free and independent and have certain inherent rights, including the enjoyment of life and liberty and the pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. Sounds pretty familiar, huh? Well, additionally, the fingerprints of Virginians can be seen all over the Constitution. While 55 men secretly attended the Constitutional Convention in the summer of 1787, 3 of them were primarily responsible for writing the document. But it's a Virginia native, James Madison, that gets the title of Father of the Constitution. His prior work, along with another Virginian, Edmund Randolph, in writing the Virginian Plan, was a precursor of the U.S. Constitution. The ideas of separation of powers through the 3 branches of governments and the division of Congress into the 2 houses were all ideas that came from the Virginia Plan. Now, in addition to the thoughts and ideas in Virginia's documents, Virginia is also known as the Mother of Presidents, as it's been home to 8 United States presidents. So it's clear to see why Virginia can be called the birthplace of a nation. So what do you think, Virginians? Did I leave something off the list? Well, I hope that you'll comment down below if I left something off the list. I'm sure there's plenty more that you could comment on, and I'd love to see those comments. But maybe, like I said at the beginning of the video, maybe you're moving from out of town, or perhaps you're moving across town, or you're looking to sell your home. But, you know, this video was a lot for people who are looking to move from out of town. If you're interested in that, all of our information on how to contact Leslie and myself is in the description down below, and we would absolutely be honored if you would call us, text us, or email us so that we can help you as well. And by the way, I just want to take a minute to say thank you to all of the folks who watch our channel and who have subscribed to our channel. Thank you. And for all of the folks that have contacted us, quite a few of you, and who we've been able to help find a home here in the area or to sell their home. Thank you. We really appreciate the chance to work with you. You've all been great folks, and you've made the job a lot more fun. So like I say, here in Stanton, Virginia, on another gorgeous day. It's overcast, but it's beautiful. And like I say, until next time, we'll see you around town.